Welcome to this week's episode. It's all about learning the pros and cons of being a female expert entrepreneur. Hey, welcome to my channel. This is Supriya, empowering women that are in entrepreneurship to succeed in life and business, being the best version of themselves. Thank you so much for being here. And I love that you're tuning in to learn more about what are the pros and cons of being in business. Let's just get started with why I'm choosing this topic today. The thing is, I see so many women CEOs and expert entrepreneurs talk about how much they're hating this journey of feeling uncomfortable all the time, never feeling at ease, and always feeling scared. So let me just break it to you that this feeling never goes away because it is saying that you have done something that is uncomfortable for you. But discomfort, we often associate it with wrong, but in human behavior, we associate it with growth. We're actually learning and growing when we are uncomfortable. It means that our brain is learning, and our brain is then prompting us to do something differently. And this is a state we are always in if we're in business. And so it's only natural to see that this is a part of life, living consciously, growing every single day, and this is a lifelong journey of being a lifelong learner. And so if you have dared to step into the journey of being an entrepreneur, welcome. And this is why people like me and my mentors, we all exist to support each other. And does it get better? Yes, it does. What's hard today will be really easy for you next year. But you'll have something else that will challenge you next year, provided you're taking the steps to grow out of what's challenging you today. And that's quite the journey. It's like, when you're a baby, and as a baby, you're trying to learn to walk, and the journey of struggle doesn't end for a while, right? And all of a sudden, the baby starts to walk and then run. And guess what changed? It's just that their sheer willingness to give it a go, to learn and to grow out of the pains was just that persistent. And as entrepreneurs, we are that kind of person. We will stick at it. We will keep going. Now, the road can be quite dark at times, and this is where I find myself educating a lot of my clients from the get-go what this journey is and can look like. It's a long road, and you're working for success, don't forget. So never forget that you're working to become a successful entrepreneur. And an entrepreneur is building a business that is a machine, a vehicle through which you serve and you exchange something for it, which is cash, and you acquire assets and you invest in assets so that you can become wealthy and more sustainable and keep growing and serving more people, right? That's your journey. And your efficiency level also has to improve, year to year or level to level. And that means you're going to have to grow with that. And this is why mentors and coaches like me exist, to empower you, to keep you protected, because the world needs you. The world needs women entrepreneurs. Because like my mentors say, that women are going to change the world. We bring in the balance in the world that's missing, right? Or has been missing. We are breaking tribal cycles. We're breaking generational cycles. We're bringing in wisdom from so many years and so many lifetimes. So we have a different perspective in the world, and we have to be by each other's side to make sure that we do the journey, and then we also are there for each other to be able to support each other on the journey. So let's get started with what are a few of the downsides of being a women expert entrepreneur. And this is not exhaustive. Now, there's more, but for the time limits of this video and episode, I've just reduced it to 3, right? That is coming to my mind. So the first and foremost is gender bias. There is still a gender bias in the marketplace today. It probably won't go till I don't know how many years, but we are still not there yet, right? I'm going to use an experience that I had recently of this, which might educate you that it's not just, men are bad, women are better. No, it's not being a sexist or a feminist. It's more about looking into the reality of things and how everything is a rhythmic and cyclical thing. When you're wanting change on a bigger scale, you need to give it time and you need to keep consistent, right? So this year, Women's Day's theme was equity, and a lot of men and women didn't really get it, right? So you saw a lot of women saying, oh, what about Men's Day? And a lot of men say, oh, don't reduce yourself to being weaker sex, or, weaker being for your sex or your gender. The thing is, these are all generalizations that we make to make light of a certain situation. The thing is, we will not probably have Women's Day and Men's Day when the time comes when we have gone beyond thinking for ourselves or of ourselves and for ourselves to be solving global problems together. We're still not there yet collectively, right? So therefore, it is a movement right now to empower women to come and keep coming, keep going together, march together and encourage each other to go for success, which is not been the norm for a long time. It may have not been the story of many women, especially in a certain race group, but for a lot of women, especially women like me, women like of an ethnic culture, we've got a lot of ancestral impressions to clear before we can say, oh, we don't need Women's Day, we don't need non-gender bias awareness, We need to stay aware of the fact that there is a collective mind at play. And if we are not aware, we're not going to be able to improve our situation. And therefore, we won't be improving our client's situation. And the ripple effect, as you know, carries on. So I hope I've made sense that there's an importance behind being aware that we are a woman. Women come with different history. Women have to clear what women have faced on their journey collectively and culturally, ancestrally, and traditionally, right? So we have to clear all those things through our belief system, our behaviors, and our results. And eventually, one day, the gender bias will probably not be a concern, which it still is, because we still are working towards diversity and inclusion, right? Equity in general. So until that is not a case, gender bias will still be a concern. So it can be a road like that to get funding or get the right clients, and we will still need to back each other as well as back ourselves to keep working through these limitations in thought and actions through new strategies that are for us. So let me know what you think about this one. Have you experienced something to do with gender bias, and has that been a part of your story that you've had to work through? The next, con or downside of being a woman expert entrepreneur or service provider can be feeling isolated as a business owner, especially a solopreneur. Even if you had a team, I even had a team, it can be quite isolating, right? When you're a leader in your learning and you're growing, and anytime you're in that state of, doing something that is challenging you, it can be quite isolating. And this is why I'm always advocating to creating your network of friends and colleagues and mentors and coaches, and create a team around you that will make it easier for you to do this journey without getting distracted or buying into your negative thoughts, and without falling prey to, FOMO, shiny object syndrome, and making higher quality decisions. Because isolation, my dad used to always say, idle mind is the devil's playground. Something similar to that is, if you are left all by yourself, who are you talking to, right? You are more likely to fall for the negative voices, right? So surround yourself with influences that can help you stay on track for your journey that you've planned or taken for yourself. And the last one I see a lot of my clients that had struggled with was the work-life balance thing. So why I call it a thing is because it's a mind thing, right? Okay, go to the episode on navigating personal and business life. And I've shared with you quite helpful strategies on how to not forget that you are you, and your business and your life and everything outside of you is that, right? They depend on you. And so work-life balance, it's like a myth, right? If you ask Steve Jobs, if you ask Richard Branson, Oprah, right? They don't talk like that. They're not measuring work-life balance. It is all an extension of theirs. And that's why they've been able to create things that are much bigger than them, right? And they have a family, and they have an enterprise, and they have impact. Then they're a philanthropist. You name them. It's like it's an expression. So work-life balance, it's a concern for those that are misguided, right? On the road to entrepreneurship, work-life balance is maintained through one thing, and that is you valuing yourself, right? You will sleep when you need to sleep. You will wake up when you need to wake up. You will eat what you need to eat, right? You will hang out with the people that you will want to hang out with, and you will do all the essential things that is geared toward you being the ultimate version of yourself, the best version of yourselves every single day. And that's the person who talks like, well, this is my life, this is my work, this is all by design, versus I'm looking to create work-life balance. It's all work, it's all life, right? So this is why in empowerment coaching, we are saying, entrepreneurs, yes, this is an extension of it. This is what you're producing, right? I mean, for my first proper business, I called it my baby. That's how it feels. All business in the new phase, it's like a baby. You've chosen to have a baby. Now you've got to show up for it, right? And yes, have you ever been around a newborn baby? They're very needy, right? And so you need to show up like that. There's no balancing life and work. It's all a part of your life, and you've got to show up with it, right? You've got to show up for it. So those are all the, downsides of being in business, and which is obviously I have something to say back to it, because for me, I too had to work through these, what was perceived to be barriers. I had to turn them into my positives, and that's exactly what I'm going to talk about next, which is the what I think are three pretty good benefits of being in business. So number one, primary benefit is your freedom. Freedom means flexibility, right? As an entrepreneur, just a quick secret, it's not freedom like what they said it would be, like you are your own boss and you don't show up to work and blah, blah, blah. If you're a successful entrepreneur, you have schedules, you have timetables, and you have a lifestyle routine to maintain all the time. and that is structure. So freedom comes from structure, right? And that makes you a flexible person, gives you flexibility because your business is doing really well to give you time back, and therefore you're actually having a flexibility, having more flexibility in how you do things, right? You may have more options. So it could be financial flexibility, it could be mental flexibility, it could be physical flexibility. And flexibility means that eventually you get to a place where your personality can become flexible. Like myself, this year, I'm doing 5 new things, right? I'm writing a book, I'm doing more speaking, I'm coaching, training, and mentoring. 5 things in a new way. And in all of this, it's a different scope, right? It's a different persona. And I'm working with leaders as well, right? And what I found myself realizing that I had to develop, and it's a challenge of mine, which is showing up and having behavioral flexibility to show up as the person they need me to show up as versus who I am. Do you know who I am? I'm an introvert. Naturally, I'm an introvert. And anyone that meets me, they think, oh, you're not an introvert. You're on YouTube, you're on Facebook, you're on TikTok, right? My behavior is in alignment to my vision and my goals, but that doesn't mean that's who I am, right? So that flexibility came from learning to be adaptable and flexible through the efficiencies that I've gained over time. So one of the biggest perks of being an entrepreneur is learning to become more flexible and gaining flexibility in all facets of our life and business. Give me a like or a comment below if you're digging that. Numero dos. And number 2 perk that I love is autonomy. Now, autonomy is a double-edged sword, which is, sometimes autonomy can be scary that, oh my God, I get to make all the decisions. How do I know what decisions to make, right? You get to set your ship's sail in the direction you want to go. That sort of autonomy takes like a lot of guts, right? So I know it's a double-edged sword. The other side of the sword is you get 100% say in the direction you want to go. This is like your baby. You get to say how it grows up, what it looks like, what it dresses like, what it talks like, you get all the say. So in that process, of course, you need to get help, but I just want to share autonomy is not everyone's to win, right? Autonomy doesn't come easy, but you will gain it through the journey of entrepreneurship. To be autonomous means there's no one hovering over your head going, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, and change this, change that. You get 100% say in all of it. This is yours. It's almost like you created it the way you wanted it. Think about the creative juices that you'd be using to be able to be autonomous. Entrepreneurship is all creative energy. So welcome. Yes. And yes, this is why we do what we do, right? And my last one, which is basically for women, this perk and I guess the pro of being a woman entrepreneur is the best, right? Because in one of the episodes I shared about Oprah's story and why I see Oprah as one of those beacons in the world is because she's a role model for women, and it is through what she stands for, what she's been able to achieve, what she's been able to do. Now, one of the things that I had to learn on my journey is to not try to be another Oprah, right? And I want to remind you the same too, that you are in your own right a role model in your own circle of influence. And period. So role modeling means that when you decide to show up with excellence, right? You role model excellence means that you are showing up authentically, you're living your values, you're doing the work that you want to do that fulfills you. Darling, this is the flame that we help fan at Empowered You, right? This whole role modeling excellence in our family, in our community, in our workplace, for ourselves, in the world, it's got a ripple effect to it, right? Your daughter is looking up to you. Your relatives are counting on you. Your partner looks to you for the source of love, care, presence, and as do your clients or your business, right? Everything that is an extension of you is sourced through you. And it is through you showing up for what is holding true value for you is where you are demonstrating and role modeling excellence. And through doing this, through being this kind of a person, you are role modeling, whether you are given an award or not. I mean, I have created Shiro's Day for this reason. For all the graduates in my Empowered You program, we are creating an annual event to acknowledge and help celebrate and make these entrepreneurs visible in the community for being this person, role modeling excellence. We don't do this enough, right? So do this for yourself. Choose to be your best version, regardless of whether it's clapping or cheering for you, because it's not about anyone else other than you. By you role modeling excellence, which is living through your own values, your vision, and fulfilling your dreams, it is you who is proclaiming that you are a certain kind of person, right? This is going to give you the way to shine from your soul. And this is going to have a ripple effect in your community, in your business, in the people around you. So these are the pros and cons of being an entrepreneur. Can you blame me for being in it for 15 years? I don't plan to change my life as an entrepreneur because I know and I can tell you from my own experience that it is the most rewarding journey that I have taken, and more than a doing, it's a being journey, right? Entrepreneurship is not an action. It's a mindset. It's a way of thinking in life. And by you taking this on, I want to congratulate you because you're one of those few that dares to change, that dares to find the answers, and that dares to role model excellence, and you show up. So keep at it, keep going, and if you know anybody that needs to hear this today, share it with them. Maybe you have a friend that's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, maybe you have a friend that's an expert or a service-based provider, so why not share it with them and make their day. Thank you so much for being here as part of our community. Really appreciate you. Until the next episode, take care.